What's up, everyone, and welcome everybody to the COACHMC studio. This is the place where we'll help you actors, performers, entertainers to really shape unique behavior deliveries and getting recognized in the audition room. And today we have another epic episode of Talks on Acting. And I got really great support with me, like strong shoulders, great mind, and a beautiful creative heart. Because yes, we're acting coaches and acting studio owners. We're a crazy bunch. We're crazy folks. We like to help others, but we also need sometimes to vent, our experiences, to kind of inform ourselves, create new networks. And so this is a beautiful moment, especially for me. I always enjoy having beautiful guests on the show, so I kind of, I can expand my horizon. I can see what others are doing, and kind of also jumping into the other, studios and see what their practices, techniques, and tips are to always get, better, to always inform also our creative community and to improve our mindset and our abilities. So today I'm really pumped because we have Jesse Malinowski from JESSY Studios from Atlanta. He's a great coach. He's a very, very informative, inspirational, great acting coach that brings a lot of joy to his people, to his community, a lot of knowledge, but also some great professional insight. So I can't wait to jump into this discussion to see what we can offer to the Southeastern, American community down here in the Southeast, and how we can flourish in the future, what his programs are, and many, many other things. So without any further ado, let's welcome in the show and let's give a round of applause to Jesse Malinowski. Welcome, good sir.
What's up, everyone? Give it up for Lorenzo with that awesome opening. Just jump in the comments right now. How are you feeling about the show? But thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you taking your time, man. So great to have you. And like I said, like acting coaches, it's a crazy bunch. Like what drives a person to become an acting coach and open up an acting studio? What was your driving force behind that?
Yeah, well, I think you bring up the, wanting to help others. And to be honest with you, I think that's really for me the driving factor. When you can get to a place where you're serving other people, I think you're going to be happier in life. And when you're happier in life, you're going to set yourself up for greater success when it comes to, like, quote unquote, making it in this business. But I started the studio really with just a buddy of mine at the time. He's no longer part, but Elon Srulovich. And it just started with he was like, hey, is there an acting school in town where they do like agent and casting director style workshops? And I was like, no, there's not. And he was getting ready to move to Atlanta. And I was like, you know what? Because he was thinking about moving. And so he was going back to LA. And I was like, by the time you land back in LA, I will have the first workshop scheduled. So Get Seen really was started off of just pure taking action, just having an idea, not thinking twice about it, and just going for it.
Wow.
So it's fun, and
that's the
I
spirit.
Yeah. And so I hope that story for your listeners, inspires some action right now in their day.
All righty, man. This is like some drops of honey right away, right off the bat. Yes, I like grateful for this because in a way, you're taking the words out of my mouth, right? This is exactly what I'm preaching. Acting comes from acting upon something. It means action. It means motion picture. It means showing. It means trying and failing, right? But you need to get yourself out there. You need to get in front of people. You need to show your temperatures. Otherwise, you never know, right, how your audience will appreciate you. Whether that's from the teaching perspective or from the one who's really like the performer. And so therefore, this is already what we need to learn is like to let go of all the whatever bothers us, what we're thinking, what other people might think of. It doesn't matter. Take action and try something, right? And this is how then you get the feedback, and from there on you have already a path, right? You can pivot, you can correct, you can implement, but you already are set on the path. I wouldn't say it's a risky business, but it's definitely a business where you have to create your community, your networking system, where you have to build trust, because this is all about intimate, personal, very private moments. So how did it go? How was the initial, the border? How did you tackle that?
When I moved to Atlanta, I from Florida, down in your neck of the woods there. My plan was to go immediately. I was filming a movie up in Atlanta called American Reunion, part of the American Pie series. And I was literally gonna go back make a U-turn, pick up my stuff from Florida and move to Atlanta. But I knew that community was important back then. And so,
Hmm.
your students and your mentees and actors there, be grateful that you have a guy like Lorenzo who is lifting you guys up, giving you that motivation and inspiration because you need it. You really, really do. And so when I was going to Atlanta, I was going to just do that U-turn, grab my stuff and go to Atlanta and go for it. But I knew
Beautiful.
that that we are better together, right? So
Yes.
I asked two of my acting buddies. I was like, hey, you guys want to go with me? And they were like, well, yes, but we can't go like right now. So like,
Mhm.
can we like, can we go like how about 6 months? We plan to do it in 6 months. And I was like,
Mhm.
all right, I'll wait for you guys. And so, we put our money together and got a U-Haul truck and went. So in the very beginning, I understood that the community was important. And, obviously we've built an incredible community with Get Seen, but even, the community that I have now within my own acting tribe, it's important that you're around people that are doing this at a high level, that are achieving more than you, finding a mentor, someone that can teach you, right? and
If
and
you're the
can help.
smartest man in the room, you're sitting in
Yeah,
the wrong room.
right, exactly, right. So, even to today, my group has changed, and I
Hmm.
think that's it is what it is, like that
Hmm.
things change, and that's one thing that is for certain in this world, right? Is that things will change.
Yep.
And so
And the
anyway,
one final thing that never changes as well, right? That's the paradox. Everything changes besides that one final thing that never changes.
yes, yes. So yeah, community is great. I have worked on it continuously in my own life, and then also worked on it within the Get Seen community, and to build that up for other actors, because I do know its importance, and it's what I think gives you a lot of motivation to continue. It helps get you to your goals faster. So it's fantastic. Yeah.
And you stay young. I think like one of the greatest things, like what you mentioned in the beginning, when you're teaching, you stay young because you teach young people, you get that young energy, that thrive, right? And that kind of, yeah, it's you catch up on that fire, yeah, you catch on that, that healthy infection. You stay young, you stay flexible, you stay adaptive because you need to teach, you need to inform yourself. So that's a great way also of staying connected with that soil. And what I've also kind of observed in the last couple of years, more and more, I mean, there are not many, but there are more and more acting coaches who are actually actors as well, right? There was like this huge legacy of old acting coaches, and of course from Stella to Chabak to from Margie Haber to the legends of this business, but they're all coaches, they were all teachers. It's a lot of theoretical, beautiful work, but it was all theoretical. And I see more and more guns coming to this game that are actually actors who went on set, who are still on set, who kind of translate their experience more directly. Do you know why this is happening? That more and more like actors also feeling this vocation of sharing and giving other people the opportunity to catch up in this business?
I mean, honestly, my truthful, honest thoughts is most
Yeah.
people find their way to teaching because they don't want to go get a real job being an actor.
Yes.
Um, so
That could be
but I
that,
think
yes.
that's kind of the problem though, right? Because some people are going to be really good at it, and some people like book a couple credits and now think that they can teach an on-camera class.
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't really begin teaching. I always thought of myself as a connector, right? I'm going
Mhm.
to get the agents and the actors together and try to help form these relationships and let the actor, do some good work. And I'll get the casting directors. And I even found myself introducing casting directors and agents together that had never met.
Sure.
It wasn't until many, many years of doing hundreds upon hundreds of workshops with agents and casting directors and different instructors within the industry that I was facilitating, that I heard time and time again what is working and what's going to be most helpful. And then started to say, you know what? Now I think I might be
Mm.
able to help some other people with this. So I think it's awesome that, there you can train with people that are actually doing it, right? So that is really going to be able to help you, right? So you want to make sure you're not accidentally falling into someone that's just trying to make extra money in between the
Yeah.
gig.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, they are always. I wouldn't call them necessarily scammers. I mean, there's definitely there's a bunch of people out there who are just flat out scammers. They say they are acting coaches, say they're accomplished actors, they say they're industry professionals, and they're simply not. They're just making money for it. There's definitely also a part of the piece of the cake where you have people that dropped out the business that are delusional about the business, or they just are disappointed about the studio networks and how the system works, and now they turned their backs on acting, and now they are teaching. Surely there's also a lazy part of the pie that says, I don't want to risk, I just want to stay comfortably. It's all true. But what I'm recognizing is that, and this is it's correlated to, let's say, the business model of Hollywood is reshaping. It's spreading out all over the United States. It's not concentrating, focused only on California and Los Angeles anymore. We have studio projects opening all over the place. And so I see the demand for more granular, more focused stories in the niche, in the regional niche sometimes, and people who understand that type of vibe. That problem, I think, also that the ivory tower that Los Angeles constitutes for a time, that for the Los Angeles world and that universe, these things were working out, but more and more actors kind of realize, hey, in my suburb, in my neighborhood, in my rural ground where I'm coming from, this doesn't actually apply. And they were, starting to look for people that are closer to them, to their fabric, to their social and artistic fabric as well. And that's where we come into play, and and say, what, we have you, we got you covered. We have what you probably need. And so this is where I feel like it's a very exciting time, because it's not focused only on California and LA anymore, and we're becoming more and more storytellers all over the place with their respective coaches like you, and we like helping them to kind of flesh out this product, and becoming not only an Hollywood actor, but an actor, like someone who is in this business, part of this art game, right?
Understanding the different markets now is really important, right? So you have LA, New York, obviously, right? And the
Obviously.
Southeast market, is really an incredible market. I'm very
Yep.
prideful of the market, which
Yep.
that Southeast is going to consist of North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Florida,
Yep.
maybe you could get Kentucky in there, and a Mississippi,
Yep.
and yeah, there's going to
Right.
be, when you take in all of those states, it's a really good sized market. And if you can get into a good program and have the right connections, you can really start doing some awesome and incredible projects, and be opened up to some incredible opportunities here in the Southeast that I promise you, LA and New York wish they could have.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, we worked for 10 years in California, and moving to this place 2 years ago, like, we discovered such a huge community of really vibrant and diverse filmmakers coming from the Latin American background, the European background, the Southeast American states background. And so there's Caribbean background, Haitian. It's crazy how many interesting threads are currently that we're weaving into this huge fabric over here in the Southeast. And therefore it's also a huge privilege to, like, we talked also to Darius Blaine, to you now, and to get to know more and more people from this area of the United States. Is really exciting, because yeah, we're telling different stories, we're coming from different background, or we're a different melting pot, we have different ideas and perspectives, and therefore we need a market that is adjusting to that. And I guess also that this reshaping of the business model, the strikes, the so-called pandemic, everything that happened in some way also facilitated this, breaking off from that mothership and kind of building our own starships, right, towards, kind of flying towards the future. Let me ask you: is there one teacher, one method? Like, I'm classically educated in terms of fancying music, bada boom, Stanislavski, Chekhov, all this stuff. What kind of influences did you take in your method? Do you have your own method? I developed like some sort of my own technique. Are you kind of in between? Tell us a little bit what the beautiful community from Atlanta, from the Southeast, can expect when they're bumping into one of your seminars and summits.
I went to school in New York, and the school that I went to, the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts,
Mm.
focused heavily on Meisner. And
Hmm.
I fought it for so long, for whatever
Hmm.
reason. I just was like, this makes no sense. Like, you're wearing a purple shirt, and you're like, I'm wearing a purple
Yeah.
shirt. You're wearing a purple shirt. You're wearing a purple shirt. I'm like, this is so dumb. And so it took me a while to finally like get it right. So
Hmm.
I love me some Meisner, But I
Hmm.
did at that same time, and I love that you brought it up. I realized even back then, I was like, I'm trying to figure out the Malinowski method, right? The method for Jesse Malinowski. And so I think that's what every actor should be doing. So you want to train for a lot, with a lot of different people, and see what little things you can kind of take that you think are really going to serve you in a big way. So that's one thing. And that's why, like, within our mentorship program, you train with someone new every single month, because that's what I believe is, like, there's not this one thing that is the end all be all, right? One thing that
Right.
works for me may not work for you, and that's okay.
100%. Yeah. Yes.
But for me, what I also bring to the table that I think is very, very important is like that kind of like Tony Robbins aspect of mindset and how to achieve your goals and level up. So it's like bringing and building your own method, but then also knowing how to walk this path in an optimistic, positive light. Because I believe if you are listening to this right now, you have the ability to make it as an actor. And I don't mean you're going to go be like Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, Meryl Streep, Viola Davis necessarily, but I mean you can go make money at this, right? You can pay some bills. However, most people give up before their time comes. And the reason for that is because they're not strong here, right? They don't have the correct mindset in order. And you talk about this. You know what I'm talking about, Lorenzo.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, I like to bring that aspect to it, and that's why I was excited to come on your show, because I know that you
Thanks,
talk
man.
about that as well. And it's so needed. It's so important, because at the end of the day, right? If any actors come to me, and I'm sure you feel similarly, it's like, if they learn some acting stuff, they book a show, fantastic. However, if an
Sure.
actor leaves more confident as a human, that is like an incredible
Uh,
win.
like Chekhov said it, you want to improve your art, improve your life, right? This is how you improve your art. I mean, it's so simple and so mundane, and people, they built all these, whatever, like, these palaces in the sky. You need to do this and then that, and but in this technique, and then improve your life, improve yourself, become more authentic, become more aware of your surroundings. Like,
I'm stealing
yeah,
that. Good.
go
I mean,
ahead, go ahead.
you
This is
stole it
what we're
from
doing here.
Chekhov. You stole it from Chekhov, but I'm stealing it from you.
Yes, I love quotes. I did one show only on quotes on YouTube, where I was just kind of going through quotes and trying to unpack them, what I think these quotes meant. Chekhov always strikes me because he's so simple, but then if you just really just think about it for a couple of minutes, it's like, damn, he's right. You don't need all these books sometimes. It's just put one sentence in the right context and let people understand what that little thing means. Sometimes that's bigger than going through all these encyclopedias of knowledge, right? Because
Yes.
in the end, we sometimes like to take the path of least resistance, right? Oh, I go to this coach, and then I go to that coach, and then I do this body coach, and then I do the combat coach, and then I do the dialogue coach and the singing coach. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, do all these things. But are you improving? You as a human being, is your mind improving, is your health improving, is the way you sound really improving, are you creating some impact when you're saying those lines? Do they mean something to you? This is way more interesting than, because I see eternal students all the time. They like, and this is okay. You want to be the eternal student, be the eternal student. But like you, what you did, and this is why also I wanted to talk to you, because you were inspiring. You got energy, and you said, "Hey, you know what? Let's open up this studio. Let's do something different. Let's gather a couple of like-minded, crazy folks like me, and let's offer something to the community. Let's see where this kind of brings us." When you open up, when you are vulnerable and authentic, this is the moment when you attract the most potential, not when you think you're, constructing and building. And this is also what I feel when I watch new movies, like later movies, like that came out, from the mid 2000s on, that most of the times bore me to death. I unfortunately, I have to say the truth, right? I don't think we haven't seen anything like truly remarkable since from, mid 2000s, maybe beginning 2000s. Why is that? Because all these people, they look great, the light is great, the context is great, but they themselves are not authentic enough. They are not transpiring this. So your goal should not be the red carpet, the Oscar. I mean, it could be, sure, this is a beautiful trajectory, but your goal should be, how can I improve? How can I impact my audience? Because the moment you just focus on this, the accolades, the rewards, the red carpets, they will come in automatically.
100%, 100%. And you also want to choose goals that you have control over, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
It's like, if you want to walk a red carpet, guaranteed, you produce your own film and get it into a film festival, and there'll be a red, or then, you do your own premiere and then have a red carpet. That's how
Right.
you actually, make that goal absolutely 100% come to fruition. However, if you, focus on the work, focus on your controllables, then those things will eventually come. When? Don't know, but you need to be patient and just continue to work hard and continue to improve everything you're saying.
When was your aha moment? Like when you said, okay, I think I want to teach. I think I want to help people. I think I want to do both. Was there something specific, or was it like a fluid transition?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know if there was a specific moment. I was running our, different workshops with the agents and casting directors. And I think over time, I just started, giving some feedback here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I was very careful because I'm like,
Sure.
the actors didn't pay for Jesse Malinowski. They paid for, whatever agent or casting director. So I always wanted to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started to like, oh, like this will help them, doing this moment before in an audition, or, utilizing your environment better, so I started to see things, and so I started to share things, and then all of a sudden, before you knew it, I had something that I called like my 5 audition secrets. And, I created that from, oh, you do your, within a cold read, here's 5 quick things that if you put this in, it's going to make your audition better. Guaranteed. Put these 5 things in there. To circle back to what you were saying here in just a second, I think it was little by little, I started doing some things, but within, I think, the methodology of what I like to teach, I also like, how can we make it easy? Because again, it's about this mindset. So many people jump into the mindset of, oh, this acting is hard or booking is hard. So what can we do to make this easy, right? So again, what's
Mm-hmm.
5 things I could put into my audition right now to like make it
Interesting.
better, make it easy, right? We just did our Improve Our Audition boot camp. We had 250 people there. It was incredible boot camp that we did. But I have everybody saying this, like, hey, what's an aha moment that you had that, and there different people are saying different things, and I'm like, everyone, how easy was this? So easy. We showed up for an hour, we had some ideas, we watched some auditions, we all learned some things, we have these breakthrough moments, and it was easy. This can be easy if we let it to, right? So focusing on that too, how can we make it easy, right? Like, if I want to make my audition more engaging, I could also like mess with the lighting. I don't even have to worry about my acting. I could literally just turn this light off over here. It'll put a shadow on my face. And now
Ooh,
I look
yes.
more like the Walking Dead-esque program as opposed
Right.
to a Haverty's commercial, right? So just like that, I made the audition better literally by turning off a light. How easy is that, right? So also figuring out a way to make things easy time and time again.
Beautiful. And what I'm getting also from you is, hey, what is it that you can control? How can you improve the things that are under your control instead of worrying the things that are not under your control that you can't influence anyways?
100%, 100%. Anytime someone is coming to the table with, this is the goal of every actor. I want to book more, right? Like you can't control that because you look like the director's cousin who he hates, or he hired his cousin or whatever. Like you could have been the best and still not got the job. So we can't control, I want more bookings. However, what we can control is we know that it can be a numbers game a lot of the time, right? So if you get 50 auditions, 100 auditions, you'll finally get one of them. So how can we get more auditions, right? How can we focus on that? Well, if I have better materials, I probably will be able to get more auditions. Well, now to get to this booking that we want so badly, if I get better headshots, more specific headshots that show my talent and the different characters I can play, that should get me more auditions. Now I'm getting closer to the bookings, right? But focusing on the things that you can control, like you just said, is the key. You want to deconstruct the goal in a sense.
In a world full of distractions, right? How do you manage to, of course, for yourself, but how do you manage to kind of transmit, kind of give people that wisdom to not getting distracted and stay on their path? Because like what you said in the beginning, right? The marathon is always the hardest with its 900 yards before the finishing line. This is the hardest point of the marathon. It's not even starting, whatever. It's those last yards that are the most difficult. And usually people bail shortly, before the actual breakthrough, which is really, it's such a shame. And I feel sorry for these people that exited the business, and then years later they realize I was so close, and then they kind of drop back, and now they have to catch up. So how do you make sure that your clients, that your students, they stay on track?
I think there's a couple things, we can say a really easy answer, like, make a list, of things that you need to do,
Hmm.
and
I like
do the
that.
list. When you do the list, you get momentum, and when you have momentum, you can't be stopped, right? So that's an easy, like,
I'm
simple
gonna
answer.
steal
Make a
that.
list.
I'm gonna steal that. That's good.
But a deeper
Sure.
one would be, really get in touch with your why. I was coaching an actor earlier today, and he was talking about how frustrated he was with some things. And
Hmm.
I'm like, because again, at the end of the day, I want people to be like happy. I want them to live a fulfilled life. So I'm like, well, maybe this isn't for you. Why are you here? Why are we doing this? And he's like, well, I do this other stuff that's very kind of rigid in my life, and I want something that's more creative. And
Hmm.
sometimes you just have to put their eyes on it. I'm like, well, are you not doing it? You've had over 100 auditions this year, and you've played all these different characters. You've had some bookings along the way. Have you not been creative?
Hmm.
Exactly the goal that you want, you have achieved. And he's like, oh, wow. So sometimes it's just, reevaluating your why, and if his why has changed, that's totally fine too. Maybe it's something else now, but sometimes we just have to get connected with our why. Why are we doing this? And that is going to give you the fuel. That's going to give you the drive. And then when you're feeling down and out, realize like, oh my gosh, you might be achieving it. You're just not giving yourself the right amount of credit. You're not. We do this so often as people, not just actors, right? We always want the next thing. We always want the next thing. We don't stop, turn around, and look at where we came from. And we're like, oh my God, I used to be back there. And now I'm here. Like, wow, I've actually done this. This is incredible. Like, I should be giving myself more credit. So I'm always trying to, hey, you got to pat yourself on the back a little bit.
I 100% agree. There's this beautiful book, and I think Simon Sinek got also inspired by this. It was written in the late 19th century by Sergei Gurdjieff, and on searching the wonderful. And searching the wonderful means that you need to escape the machine. And imagine this was late 19th century, and he was already writing that our brain sometimes is trapped in the machine of functionality, where art is not functionality, right? Because the most important, maybe even the most beautiful thing for the audience to see is dysfunctional people, right? And so there is this, some sort of this conundrum that on one hand, we need our headshots, we need our CV, we need to update our material, we need our reel, our portfolio, our casting network, and it's all machine work. That's all functionality, and it is super important, but it's transactional. This is actually not the art. And so when those moments when we create the art and when we actually embrace the unrational and the dysfunctional, we usually create the most outstanding performances, or we get the best ideas, we write the best songs, we compose the most beautiful melodies. In those moments, we realize what kind of power we have. And I always remind my clients and my students is like, do you realize how much power do you have? Like, how do you want to use that power to feed the functionality of the machine, or to feed the universe that lies beyond, and the incredible stars and the millions of solar systems that you can embrace that are on the right side of your brain, where everything is sort of slightly dysfunctional? Because sometimes people want answers from something that can't deliver answers. That's why the Sphinx answers in riddles. Right? If you go to the Oracle won't tell you, like, whether it's the Oracle of Delphi or you go to the Neo Matrix movies, like the Oracle won't always straight answer your question. And that's a good thing. Because like in Lord of the Rings, right? Sometimes the shortest path is not the path that we need to take, because that path won't instruct us. That path won't give us the information that we need long term. And so sometimes the things seem to be devastating and hard and hard to achieve, but because you need to learn through that what it actually takes to then get to the finish line.
Oh, Lorenzo, bravo. You're like an encyclopedia over here, like quoting books from 1800. Oh,
Yes.
geez, this is incredible.
Yes. It's my curse.
I mean, I'll take that curse any day.
We need to organize a workshop, man. We need to bring something together. We need to put something out there for the people.
I'll tell everyone it's easy, and then Lorenzo will come in. Let me tell you about the book from 1865.
I love this fact that you're always pointing out that it is easy, because it is easy. But nonetheless, I feel like that people sometimes well, because the system surrogates that everything has an expiration, that everything can be fast. There are cycles for everything. Everything can be obtained rather quickly. And they sometimes like kind of, leave the big, like the purpose out of the picture. And purpose, like, we are contradictory beings. Human beings are weird, strange, and ambiguous, right? We're not normal. And so therefore, wait till your product blossoms up. It needs time. There is no stamp. There's no, and even if it's contradictory, then it's that. Then that is fine, because you are contradictory. We go to bed, we have a certain opinion about ourselves. We stand up, we get up in the next morning, we have a completely different opinion about ourselves. It's just 8 hours past, but this is our life, right?
Man, that's so true. And yeah, that's very interesting. And so, you want to, I mean, I think it's okay for that to happen, but be aware of, the thoughts that are going to serve you, I think it's okay for us to contradict ourselves from time to time, in the sense of it's okay to change your mind about things is what I mean by that, right? Like, meaning, like, you can love to do this and then one day say, like, actually I decided I don't like to do it, right? So technically you'd be contradicting yourself, but I think it's okay
Yes.
to, change your mind about things. However, you want to make sure that it's you're serving yourself, right? So a lot of people will have different thoughts on themselves, right? Their confidence level will go up and down all the time. And so it's like, you need to take note, oh, if my confidence is down, let's say, is this going to serve me? If it's not going to serve me, then what action can I take to change this?
100%. Bruce Lee always said, embrace the useful, discard the useless. It doesn't matter what's left. That is what you need, right?
So good.
You got like a favorite acting book?
True or False by David Mamet.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Really,
I mean, that's a classic. And I like that because I like the idea of kind of like breaking the rules. I like the idea of, like, it doesn't have to be so serious all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like David Mamet was just, kind of almost like brought in this, like, this can be easy kind of mindset.
Yes, 100%. And also he teaches us that what our perception of our performance is not necessarily, it's not overlapping with the perception of the audience. Sometimes we step off stage and say, wow, I was great today. Everybody looks at us like, really? And then sometimes we step off stage and say, oh, today I really fucking bombed. And everybody, that was marvelous, man. That was so great. And this happened to me many times. It's like, where does this disconnect happen from what I perceive and from what the audience perceives? And Mamet kind of nails it. We simply don't know, right? We simply don't know sometimes.
I mean, and that's the thing with perception, just in general, right? Is like, when someone, language is huge, right? So, when someone says something like, oh no, this is hard, even if you change it to, it's just harder than you'd like it to be, right? You change that language. So it's not hard anymore. It's just harder than you want it to be. Okay. Yes. Right. Because for someone else, it's not hard. So that can't be a true statement. Again, the perspective of it. So,
interesting. Yes. You got a favorite actor?
My favorite actor, let's see. When I grew up, when I was growing up and I got first into acting, Edward Norton in Primal Fear.
Wow.
Incredible to me.
Excellent choice. Yes.
I just absolutely loved his work. I was just obsessed with it. I watched everything he was in.
Yes.
I feel like he's not in as much stuff anymore. I think he's kind of, gone a little bit more like low key. So if I had to choose somebody that's like out now, who's like inspiring to me right now is like Ryan Reynolds. Because Ryan Reynolds is like, what he did with Deadpool and Wolverine to me was unbelievable. Like, not only what he's doing like as an entrepreneur, how he's marrying everything, how he's thinking about the publicity, the ads, how to get the movie out there, how to bring people together. Like, if you look at some of the like interviews from some of the like surprise people that were in Deadpool and Wolverine, like, they were all like, yeah, Ryan called me and was like, yeah, if you can make that happen, sure. Like, nobody believed him. Nobody thought like, what he could put together. Like, so like he just had this incredible vision from every element of this film. I mean, like, I don't know if how much he got paid on the back end, but it probably wasn't enough. you know, he just did so many
No, no.
incredible things with that. So Ryan Reynolds is somebody that's like really inspiring me as an actor right now because of all of the elements, not just acting, that he's doing,
Interesting.
that I think honestly, as actors, as artists, if you really truly want to make a living at this, I think we're going to have to transition into that. The days of,
A
you
hundred
know,
percent. A
yeah,
hundred
like
percent.
the days of like booking some good projects and, you know, then
Mm-mm.
like living on residuals and stuff until you get the next
Mm-mm.
one, like they're gone.
They're
And
gonna cancel residuals in a couple of years. It's
yeah,
gonna happen soon. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, and to a certain extent, maybe also legitimate. You know, we can debate about that. I mean, I love my residuals coming from Germany and Italy. I mean, no offense. I mean, but to a certain point, maybe we got too comfortable with the idea. I just produce this once and then I earn for 10, 15 years. And where art is actually nice when you keep doing it, you keep trying and you keep pushing the boundaries. But of course, like still there needs like royalties, like, you know. And again, we could have a discussion about that. I just recently, not a couple of months ago, I shot a YouTube show about on my channel about how Ticketmaster is going bankrupt and how that will change concert industry and music industry, and how now everybody's more responsible for his bookings. And this is the same thing that is happening to us actors. We're now like, yesterday we taped with a pretty famous actress, we taped 6.5 hours, 5 self-tapes in one day. She edited, she got the hair, makeup, dress, everything on her. I was on my end, I was giving her everything. Like we were a production studio, like two people, two laptops. You know, this is what we have to face. We have to kind of, you know, buff up a little bit, to man up. We need to become more mature and more aware of what you're saying, of all the possibilities, of all the cross connections of marketing, and you know, be savvy about the stuff. Otherwise, the train, right? It kind of, you know, it will start without you on board.
yes, absolutely.
I wouldn't say it's beautiful. It's nice because yesterday I did 600 different jobs for this self tape, and she as well, right? You know, stuff that, you know, used to be done by a casting director. Now we're all doing this. But on the other hand, this gives us enormous power,
Yeah.
enormous knowledge, and enormous skill and enormous practice. And I wouldn't say no to all of that, not for a second. I love to improve.
You know, actors 15 years ago, for sure, no one knew how to edit or
Yes,
light or like
right.
know anything about cameras. And now, like all the actors, no, I don't want to say all of them, right? But a lot of them now know about this stuff. Why? Because they had to. Are they better off for it? Yes, 100%. So, you know, yeah, it can feel annoying how the business transitions. I'm always going to do my best to look at it as the glass half full, right? So
Absolutely.
to me, it's not a negative, it's a positive. It's forcing me to learn skills that I wouldn't learn. And because of it, now I am more powerful. I am more useful. I can create more things. It never would have happened if I didn't have to learn it.
I
So,
love
you know,
that.
all these different things that change, there's another side of it that is going to be helpful, that is going to be great. You just have to find it.
Where do you, I mean, and we will talk about also your programs and everything, but where do you see the industry in 10 years from now? How do you think it will change? Also, you know, you know, kind of segueing from what you said about Ryan Reynolds and the necessity to kind of, you know, do all these things.
Man, 10 years, you know, honestly, in 10 years, I really have no idea. I mean, I think there will definitely be like AI, like movies, I think, in some manner, like, you know, oh, I want to see, you know, Tom Cruise in the
Mm-mm.
romantic comedy. You'll be able to, I think there will be also be another thing, where it's like you can get actors that are no longer with us, right, to like
Mm-hmm.
appear in movies now, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Lee will be back with like Jackie Chan and Chuck Norris. You know, they'll all be in the
I'm down.
new
I'm
new
so.
AI Expendables movie or something.
It's a bit scary. Yeah.
So like I think you'll just be able to like, you know, choose what you want, you know, and I think, you know what? I think it's gonna essentially it will be in 10 years, it will be like, do I want to watch
Mm.
real movies
Yes.
with real people, right? I don't know what it'll be called, right? Maybe they'll call it like the authentic movie, or do you want to watch the AI movie? And so the
Yeah.
AI movie is limitless, but it doesn't have the human spirit, right?
Yes. Yes.
Um, And
I
so
think you
people,
posted something about Ben Affleck on your account. And remember when he talked about that? Like you can't replace Shakespeare or poetry.
right? Yeah, so I think AI will have this limitlessness to it, where
Mm-hmm.
you can do whatever the heck you want.
Mm-hmm.
But then, hopefully, people will be craving, the authentic, real.
100%. It
Film
will
as
be
well.
always like this. You have a summit coming up in February, right?
Yeah, we have our Southeast Actors Summit. That'll be February 21, 22, 23. It's our 3-day event where over 200, we'll see how many we get this year. Maybe we'll get up
Wow.
over 300 this year, but
That's
the last 2
amazing,
years
man.
in a row, we've had over 200 actors. There's different breakout workshops throughout the day. We have, some of the best agents and casting directors in the business there. It really is a magical event. And, I've been really lucky to speak and work on a lot of different stages around the country, doing these really big events for entrepreneurs. And so I saw what these events were doing for people, these 3-day events, the shift that it could make in someone's life, that inspiration, that motivation, that like, I'm going to take this seriously, or I'm looking at this business differently now. Like really, truly life-changing events in 3 days that really put actors on the trajectory to change their life. And so that's what I wanted to create. So this is our 3rd year now doing it. I just love this event so much. It's awesome. And it's just, it's, I would say, I don't know that there's an event bigger than this event, with everyone that is there, the amount of instructors that are there, the industry pros that are there. I don't know that there's one bigger than this in the Southeast. If there is,
Amazing.
put it in the comments.
No, yeah. Let us know if there is, but I highly doubt it. I mean, we should. I mean, we're so freaking busy, but I mean, that would be something beautiful also to catch up with the Atlanta scene, to come around and just shooting a little video there, but catching up with you. Let's see if we can make it happen.
I
Also,
love that.
no, absolutely. What else have you planned? I mean, what can people expect from, if they don't have any clue, like what they run into when they enter your beautiful facility? What's going on there?
I think what to expect at Get Seen is expect to focus on what I believe is like my triangle of success when it comes to being an actor. So the triangle of success, again, right? I'm coming up with easy things. How can I make this easy? I found out, like, very early on, is like, nobody knows which way to turn, right? Like Lorenzo does something, I'm like, oh, if Lorenzo took with that headshot photographer, like I better go shoot with that headshot photographer, and then nothing happens for me. And so I'm like, why didn't that work? It worked for you, right? So, or a coach, or a specific class, or a workshop. And so my triangle of success is the idea of, if you do these 3 things, if you focus on these 3 things, you will move forward 10 out of 10 times, right? And so the first part of the triangle is business, understanding that this is a business. Yes, it's an art, right? But if you want to make money in this, you got to know that it's a business, right?
Yep.
The next part of it is auditioning.
Yep.
Right? If you want to book a job, you got to be good at auditioning. So we can work on auditioning. And then the third is your connections. So it's like, who do you know? And I think the connections, we talked about community earlier. I think community can be part of that as well. So it's the connections. What connections do you have? Continue building on those connections. So if you ever feel stuck, you work on either business, auditions, or connections, or all 3 in unison, you're going to move forward. So I think that's the simplest way to put, like, what you can expect from Get Seen is normally everything that we do is incorporating all 3 of those things.
Marvelous. You just gave me the key to eternity. This is really alchemy happening right in front of your screen. Creative community, smash the like button for this value proposition, and definitely also jump to Jesse's accounts and follow him everywhere, and make sure to be also around for his February summit. This sounds like really exciting, inspiring, and uplifting stuff that comes from a mind that really likes to help people and then really transmit a toolbox that is effective, workable, and tangible, right? So stuff that we really can apply. No theoretical mumbo jumbo, no philosophical high charts, whatever that doesn't find any application in real life, and the least on set, where you need clear tools, a direction, and like sort of like an idea of entitlement, what you're doing there, right? And so this is what we should embrace, stuff that we really can translate into work, and never be shy of doing that, because in the end, like, we're here just for a certain amount of time. I always say this, like, when people are struggling with their motivation, with their, I'm not booking, I'm not, like, we all have been there, and I know how frustrating it is, but put it in context. What else should we do with this time, instead of investing ourselves and creating some wonderful art and connecting with wonderful artists? What else do you want to do? Sitting at home, sitting in the office, consuming content? Is this what you're here for? We have more neural connections in our brain than observable stars in the universe, and everything you want to do is sitting on your couch. You can't be serious about that. So embrace it. And yes, finally, you will also realize that success comes from failing, and this is part of the mission as well as having success, right? It's second law of thermodynamic, right? There's always a counter reaction. So accumulate success, but that success comes from accumulating failures, or the other way around. So I guess my final statement, and also to thank you so much for your energy, inspiration, and great wisdom that you bring to the table. Great, effective, easy to apply wisdom, right? Is that in the end, this is the quest, this is the adventure, and it's not the red carpet, it's not the Oscar, it's not the accolades. They are just a natural byproduct of investing in us and just enjoying this opportunity of being alive.
Can't say it better. Thanks so much for having me. It was a blast to be here. Continue doing what you're doing. Everyone that's here listening, be grateful as well, and know the power of the community. Make sure to stay in it, and not only stay in it, but what can you give? What can you give while you're in the community? Because that's how we make the community better. And if everyone is giving, we're in a beautiful place.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for this conversation. Talk to you soon on this channel, or maybe we come around to Atlanta. Thank you so much, creative community, for sticking by. Like I said, we will also link, of course, all the beautiful endeavors that Jesse is pursuing, and definitely check him out. Book one of his courses. Go visit him in Atlanta. Be part of the February summit. Follow him on Instagram as well, and leave a lot of likes and comments. Make sure that this community is engaging, that we are commuting and melting together. The Southeast is standing up with a lot of force, a lot of bravery, a lot of courage. This is what we do. We stand in for our art, right? Thanks so much, Mr. Malinowski. See you next time. And now you're ready to perform. Thank you.